The Alpha Sessions.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Alpha Sessions. Today we have Frankie Bird in the studio. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, how are you?
Good. Yeah, pretty good. It's nice to have you here. It's your first time in the studio?
Yes, right? It is.
And your first radio
It is. I've never done
interview.
anything like this before, so it's very exciting.
I hope we don't...
It's scary.
Yeah, I hope we don't put you off forever. This is going to go well.
No, I'm sure.
So for those who don't know you, where are you from? Tell us a bit about yourself.
So I grew up in Reading, in Berkshire. Yep. And I just sort of got into music there and doing open mics around Reading and the surrounding areas. But I moved to North London at like the end of 2021. Yeah.
Did you move here for music or something else?
To sort of pursue my career. So I thought I'd sort of reach my limit in Reading, so London was the place to be, and there's so many good opportunities here, which I'm trying to make the most of.
So I was going to ask, how is Reading in terms of music? Because I'm from Winchester, so
okay.
I'm not far off.
Yeah, it's not far away.
And it's all got this kind of, it's lovely, and there are music scenes there.
Yeah.
But I found the same thing, moved up here because it's there, but it's limited.
Yeah, for sure. And London is pretty close, so it's so tempting. Mm-hmm. It's not like a massive jump. So yeah, I mean, in Reading we do have a lot of good open mics in sort of local pubs. That's how I sort of got into performing live. I've been doing live music since I was like 16 probably. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is good, and we have a few good venues like the Face Bar, which I performed at, done a gig there, and Purple Turtle and Sub 89. So yeah, it is good, but London's definitely a different level, to be honest.
How does it feel doing music in London? Do you feel like it's a good, vibrant community? Because some people come up here and they think it's all going to be crazy and fun and experiences everywhere, and it can be a bit disheartening.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people trying to do the same thing, so there's a lot of competition, to be honest. Yeah, but then it's such a good scene to get involved in, especially like in regards to live. As I said, I do a lot of open mics. At the moment, I'm doing like 1 or 2 a week, kind of all over London. Even though I'm based in the north, I try and go south, east, west, just to try and see what's out there. And there's loads of great venues and sort of opportunities like showcase sessions and more like build gigs, which I'm trying to do more of. Mm-hmm. And also it's a great like network of people that I've met. Sometimes I see the same people doing the same thing. I get to know their songs and they get to know mine. So it's great. So I'm really happy that I made that decision.
Mm-hmm. How do you find your open mics? It's something I really struggle with because there's so many, and a lot of them are sort of like on the fly at a pub. They'll just like put a chalkboard outside, say open mic here tonight. Do you have like, I heard you saying something about a bucket list, an open mic bucket list?
I have a very strategic plan of like a list of ones that I want to go to, and then I just tick them off. It's really satisfying once I've been able to do that. As I said earlier, I try and go to all like the different ones rather than going to like the same one every week, just to meet different people and get to like different spaces. And yeah, sometimes you go and there's like a couple people there, that's fine. But it's great when you get there and it's like packed out. Also, you know, it's not like a gig. Sometimes people are just there drinking their beer, just want to have a conversation. They don't want to hear you're sort of yapping on in the background. Sometimes people turn around and say, oh, I actually really enjoyed your set, and they happen to come across my music, which is great. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that makes it all worth it, really, doesn't
yeah,
it?
For sure.
But what got you into music then? Was it open mics? Did you go to open mics in Reading just to experience it, see what it was like, and then you decided from that point? Or was it from a really young age? Or?
So basically my sort of origin story, I started playing guitar at about 14, and as soon as I started playing guitar, I pretty much... I was self-taught. I just sort of learnt from like YouTube tutorials. I started doing songwriting, and then I just wanted to see what people thought of them. So then, like, by the time I was like 16, I was like, okay, parents, please take me to this location. I want to do a performance. I was not very good at the beginning, but over time, hopefully, I've progressed, and that's how I that's my main thing is like live music. I like doing the recordings, but my main sort of focus is live. I
think that happens a lot with open mics, especially because you get into such a big circuit and you get used to performing really quickly as well. So how do you feel on stage now? Like in the beginning you said like, oh, I wasn't very good. Everybody is always a bit scratchy. But how do you feel now? Do you feel like when you step on the stage it's like, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be? Do you feel nerves?
Yeah, I mean, I still do get nervous, but not like anywhere compared to like what I used to be. Like I used to literally, my teeth were like chattering and I was like, shaking so much. But now because I've done it so frequently, I sort of think I've got past that stage, which is great actually. But sometimes when you see like a massive crowd, it's it's pretty intimidating. Like I did like a festival sort of back home this summer, and it was like 800 people. So it was like the biggest crowd I'd ever performed to. So I was really nervous before that. But now I just think, I've kind of got past that point, which is pretty good, to be honest.
I feel like festivals are a really natural progression for a lot of open micers, some people, because it's that same kind of crowd. It's like a lot of people who haven't gone to a specific venue to see a specific artist. They just want to go and experience whatever they see. So is that your kind of your plan? Are you moving towards more festivals and big open spaces?
Yeah, I really do like the festival environment. Obviously, being from Reading, I've sort of gone to Reading Festival every year. That is the dream, as you know. To be able to perform there one day would be great. But it's definitely a different sort of environment to like a gig in the evening, because it's like a whole day event and it's outside. So they're really fun. So hopefully maybe next summer I'll get to do a few more.
And what about busking? You ever tried busking?
I actually haven't done that, to be honest. That's something that a lot of singer-songwriters sort of do, but I've never really got involved in it. I don't really know why, but maybe it's something to consider in the future, because it is a good way to sort of get people to listen.
Yeah, I feel like your sound would work really well. I think it would carry, especially because, I mean, acoustic guitar, singing, it's just really nice sound. Is that your only instrument, or do you play?
To be fair, it's my main instrument. I can maybe play like C on the keyboard, so just in the background sometime. And I could maybe do a bit of bass, but guitar's my main thing. I play like acoustic and electric, because for my like actual like singles, like they're more like full band instrumentation, to more like electric guitar and like riffs and lead lines as well. But I can do the acoustic thing as well. It's quite fun.
Yeah, it's a nice way to start as well, and then I guess from that point, when you have one instrument, you can just branch out anywhere. But I mean, piano is something that I always recommend to everyone. Just, like,
no, I would love to learn it. Or like drums would be awesome.
Yeah, drums would be so good. Plus, we need more female drummers.
Yeah,
I feel like
this is a necessity. We should get on board.
It'd just be so good. I think that would be, if I could go any other direction, I'd go drums.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Yeah, I think so.
So tell me about now all of your music, because, I mean, you write everything. Right?
I do.
You're a songwriter.
Yeah.
So today you played 3 for us. First one was Younger Dreams.
Yeah.
Which is something you've released.
It is. That was my debut single,
everywhere. It's your debut?
Yeah.
So when did that one come out?
So that came out like early April this year. So I wrote it maybe like during the pandemic. So I sort of knew, okay, I'm always going to have this as my first one to put out. And it came out in like spring this year. And all the major streaming platforms. Yes, that was the first one.
And how was that process? Is this something you wrote a long time ago and you were sitting on it, or did you write this for release? You thought, right, I need to release some music, and then you wrote it? What was the process?
I kind of don't normally write with the intention for anything in particular, but it just sort of came about, and it always stuck with me. Like, I'm quite like a prolific writer. Like, I write a lot of songs. Like, they're not all good, but like I'm lucky to be able to write quite frequently. And I just sort of thought that would be a good one. Has quite like a big chorus. I thought like to do the production of that would be quite interesting. So that's kind of why I chose it.
And when you wrote this, was it a personal kind of feeling? Were you projecting something?
Yeah, to be fair, what it's about is when things don't really work out in the way you were planned. Like when you're younger, you have all these dreams of what your life's going to be like when you're an adult. And when I was like 20, that's when I wrote it. I was like, things aren't exactly how I thought, even just because of like the pandemic, and I wasn't living my life in the way that I wanted. So that's kind of what the main concept is of that song.
From the right side of the tracks, always did what I was told. Kept my eyes on the ground to see my future unfold. And I'm not too expectant, that's just how it's supposed to go. But my friends settle down as the cold wind blows. I've waited a while now, you're taking your time. How do you think that you'll ever get away with losing my page in my book? Cause I had it all planned out, considering how it's planned out. I think that I'll have to make a change, try and rearrange my outlook. Cause I had it all done, didn't want to listen. Now I find I'm missing my younger dreams. Cause they were there in plenty, saw at 20. You supposed you were met me in my younger dreams. In my younger dreams. I did not skip any steps, but now we're sitting skipping stones, wondering what I did to end up alone. 'Cause my story's been ruined, and I don't know who I was fooling. Because there is all the chasing dreams of broken fantasies as always. It's time that I never had, and now it just seems so sad. Because there is always losing me in the life that could have been in its place. 'Cause I had it or it's on, didn't want to listen. Now I find I'm missing my young dreams. 'Cause they were there in plenty, but less so at 20. You supposed you were met me in my younger dreams. In my younger dreams. 'Cause I had it or it's on, didn't want to listen. Now I find I'm missing my younger dreams. 'Cause they were there in plenty, but less so at 20. You were supposed to have met me in my younger dreams. 'Cause I had it or it's on, didn't want to listen. Now I find I'm missing my younger dreams. 'Cause they were there in plenty, but I saw at 20. You were supposed to have met me in my younger dreams. In my younger dreams. And now when I fall asleep, all I see are memories, losing all their clarity, losing all my sanity. And now when I fall asleep, all I see are memories, losing all their clarity, losing all my sanity. And now when I fall asleep, all I see are memories, losing all their clarity, losing all my sanity. And now when I fall asleep, all I see are memories, losing all their clarity, losing all my sanity.
The Alpha Sessions.
So
Yeah.
you wrote this in 2020,
2020, yeah.
which means that was your kind of pandemic phase.
Yes, I did write a lot of songs because there's a lot of time, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll get through a lot. So yeah, I think like a lot of people putting out songs kind of nowish that they wrote during that time. So
Yeah.
it's quite, yeah, it's good. I mean, good things did come from it, I suppose,
Yeah.
creatively.
I mean, yeah,
So.
that's good. I mean, it must have affected your live stuff though.
Yeah, that was
That was
pretty
your main-
non-existent. So I did miss that. So I kind of had like maybe like 2 years out from that, and then I got back into it with like summer 2021, and that's why I really like now I feel like I've got the opportunity. I'm just going to go for it and do as many as I can, and they are out there. Like they've started like ones that had stopped for a bit, they're restarting again. So there's plenty out there to do, which is great.
How did you feel about the release process back in when you released Younger Dreams?
Yeah.
Specifically, if this was your debut, did you do it all yourself? Did you have a team?
Yeah, to be fair.
How was that?
Yeah, no, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had like a list of like sort of radio stations and blogs to send it off to. And to get some responses and like some good reviews from it, which was great. And I just sort of sent it off to everybody I had ever met if they wanted to listen.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was fun experience. And now since I've had like another release since that, I kind of know what to do for like future ones. I know kind of what the process is.
And you do all your own artwork and everything as well?
Yeah, so my dad's a photographer, so he sort of did it for me.
That's unfair.
Yeah, so that was pretty lucky. Yes, I've sort of done like more photos for the covers rather than like art or something. Yeah.
And the production side of things I'm interested in because we haven't spoken at all about that yet. So the actual recordings, you do them acoustic today, but they involve a lot more instrumentation and production. So how did you go about that? Was it studio recording or home?
No, it was a studio. I went to a studio in Wood Green and just worked with the producer there. to have some like creative input, but I'm not really a producer. I did try the home production, but then it didn't really work out for me so well. And I prefer to just concentrate on like the songwriting and sort of say, oh, can this be a bit louder, or can we put some more reverb on this for the songs. So I've had 2 out, but they do have like the full production, drums and bass and stuff. They're not really like acoustic. They work as acoustic songs, but the actual singles are like full instrumentation. Yeah.
And what did you find was the hardest process from the whole release plan? Because there's so much to think about.
Yeah.
A lot of social media, I think people are hit hard by the media side of things and the coverage. Was it really difficult? Was that a difficult side for you, or you were natural on the whole?
Social media. I mean, if I wasn't doing like promotion of my music, I probably maybe wouldn't have it or wouldn't go on it as much. I don't like to think I'm not like on my phone all the time, but I do try and be quite consistent with that, because I sort of recognise that it's a very good tool that is available for sort of artists to be able to promote themselves. So I kind of try to do like a post, maybe 2 a week or so, something like that, just to remind people that I exist and my music's out there if you want to have a listen. So I didn't find it really challenging, but it's just something, that you've got to keep up with doing.
I think people have such specific processes, so I always like to delve into that. Some people have like actual social media calendars to sort of make them keep on top of it, and it is something that is hard to remember for some people. For me, I just don't. I forget I have a phone, and it's not great. I should, work harder on that. But yeah, you seem like you've got it all sorted out.
I try. Yeah, I'm quite like an organised person, I would like to think, which is quite useful when you're trying to do something like that. Yeah.
Do you think you'll always be on top of things in this way? Would you like a team? Because some people go forever and ever just on their own, completely independent.
Yeah.
What's kind of your team goal?
So my plan for the beginning of next year is to maybe look for a manager and get someone else involved. I think that I can manage myself at this point, but the idea that I would just like to be able to discuss decisions with someone else, like I talk to like my family and friends about it, but to have someone in the industry with sort of knowledge and connections that I could benefit from was something that would be great. So it's definitely something I'm going to look into.
Yeah, I think actually advice is one of the most important things. Just to be able to talk to people, even just having a group of friends that are in the industry is really good, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I noticed, talking about like all the different media and things that you're doing yourself, that you haven't created music videos yet.
No.
Is that something that you're interested in for your releases?
I'm not sure. It's not, some people are like, I've got the song, I have to do a music video. It's not really something that I felt was like something I really needed to do. But it would be cool to do one. But that's like a whole thing. You've got to have like a storyline or different sort of creative ideas of what it could be. But maybe in the future, it's definitely something to consider. I think it'd be fun. Yeah.
Or even doing like a live, because sometimes you can get into a studio and get a band together, or just do a solo and make a music video out of doing a live session.
That's a good one.
But I did see on your YouTube you have live performances on there.
I do have a few songs out on YouTube. That's some live performances from various places. So it's good to have that as well as just the recordings.
Is that something you think you could keep up as like a weekly, like some people have Patreon, I think it's a really interesting platform where they'll make it into such a business where people subscribe and all they give them is like, all they give them is a lot of work, but they put together just like a live video, or you'd write something new and record a live version of it and then put it on. Would you do something like that? Because your live videos seem to be like quite a nice thing to have out there. Yeah,
no, it's good to have the live stuff and to sort of hear the audience clapping and all that sort of thing. I think I might do that in the future. Yeah, sounds a good idea.
And it's nice because you say you write a lot of songs, so if you do like little bits and just see what people think of it, and then it just, I don't know, it just reaches out really far. And speaking of which, your second song you played for us was a new one, an unheard.
Yeah, it's not one that's out yet. That one's called Bitter. Kind of wrote it around the same time as the other two, but I just thought it would be a good one. It works quite well acoustically, and it's just sort of a ballad number. So that's kind of why I chose to do it today.
And what's that one about?
It's about...
I touched on something too fast.
No, that's fine. It's just about kind of like hoping to find like your own like love story, like sort of seeing your friends with like partners or whatever, and you're happy for them, and you don't want to be bitter, but you kind of wish that for yourself as well. That's kind of like the idea behind it.
Puzzle pieces fell into place. Still waiting for mine to do the same. 'Cause I see all held hands, I can't help feeling sad. 'Cause that's something that I want but never had. And you can dance that in the street if you like, and I will be a few paces behind. And I see your eyes shining like the brightest lights, and I want to be there, but I'm not quite. 'Cause I don't want to be bitter, but could you consider when it might leave your heart in your sleeve? It makes me feel as if I'm getting in the way. And you say it's forever, that you'll be together, and I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain? Out in the rain. And I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain? Like you found the other half of you, and that's easier to say than to try and do. I have so many questions, please retain your time, 'cause I think that that's a life that could be mine. 'Cause I don't want to be bitter, but could you consider when it might leave your heart in your sleeve? It makes me feel as if I'm getting in the way. And you say it's forever, that you'll be together, and I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain? Out in the rain. And I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain? I've been a failure at finding out where you met the one. Maybe I'm scared to all my life. I'm never prepared to let this be the day, 'cause I didn't run away. Why the surprise if I've never noticed? When I wander around, they can't hold us back in the time when we were closest. You didn't do the same. Now it's my price to pay. My price to pay. My price to pay. My price to pay. 'Cause I don't want to be bitter, but could you consider when it might leave your heart in your sleeve? It makes me feel as if I'm getting in the way. And you say it's forever, that you'll be together, and I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain? Out in the rain. And I think that's great. I hope there's no change, but could you just wait before leaving me out in the rain?
The Alpha Sessions.
If you write a lot, then it can always come from the heart.
Yeah.
But do you think what is your process? Do you sit down when you have feeling for something, or does it just happen sometimes?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all my songs are very personal. They're all about sort of my own life experiences and emotions. Yeah, and I'm kind of like very traditional songwriter. I do just sit down with guitar and play like the chords and then write the melody line on top of that and lyrics and stuff. So it's kind of a pretty standard process, I would say. Yeah, and then I manage to write quite a lot, and then I just choose the ones that I think have potential out of that.
Do you record at home as you make demos? Do you make like little, when you write songs, do you make demos out of them, or do you just, you're always on paper?
So like old fashioned, I do write in like my songbook.
I like that.
Yeah, I just like it. I feel like typing on my laptop might be a bit more impersonal, so I've never really done that before. And then I just record like the voice notes on my phone so I can remember what it's like. Then I come back to it next day and be like, oh, how does this go again? And I'm the only person I can ask, so yes, I've got all them recorded in case I forget one day.
I know you said you're organised, but have you got that kind of classic musician voice memo thing, which is like new recording 342, just like hundreds?
Yeah, sometimes, or like ideas that I never have gone back to that aren't titled, and I find them and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll sort of incorporate that somewhere.
Yeah, so that's the great thing about it. If you record just little ideas, and then you come back to them, or you just sift through out of, because you're bored, you're like flipping through them, and you come across something, and then suddenly it just like completely transforms into something else.
Yeah.
But do you find yourself on the move, making little voice memos about a thing, or you always sit down very solitary in your room and write?
If I'm not thinking about songwriting, I probably don't really do it just when I'm out in other places. But it's normally just in my bedroom, just sitting on my bed playing my guitar. That's when the ideas come, and then I find like a lot of things sort of flow out when I start, and I can't stop. Yeah.
Do you think that is anything to do with your influences? I haven't asked you about your influences yet either. I'm really interested about this because I feel like they'd be quite broad. I mean, you remind me of the Cranberries. I don't know if anybody else is feeling this.
I get that a lot, yeah.
I mean, the way you sing the cadences and the melodies, and just the tone of your voice reminds me of Dolores.
I've had that a few times. I do like them, but it's not like I would say they're my favourite artist. I listen to them all the time. But I have got that comparison a few times, which is lovely. Very pleased. Thank you.
Who do you listen to then? Influences can differ as well. I feel like you listen to a lot of people who do influence your writing, but they aren't how it sounds.
Yeah.
So what have you got? What have you grown up listening to?
So kind of just like indie rock bands. Like I love like Oasis and Stone Roses and the Smiths, and then more modern ones like 1975 and Wolf Alice. And just from like a female solo singer-songwriter perspective, I would say like Taylor Swift or like Avril Lavigne or Phoebe Bridgers. So it's kind of like a weird amalgamation of those artists that come from different places and different periods of time, and
it's a good mix. But I want to hone in on Taylor Swift because I love Taylor Swift from a very specific era. So what era, or are you all around Taylor Swift? Because some people are very like, she's had so many phases. Many phases. What phase most influences you?
I would say Speak Now, just because it was more like pop rock. There was a lot of like electric guitars in the album, which really appeals to me. So that's always my top album of hers at the moment, but we'll see. Yeah, how about you?
Interesting. I like Fearless.
Okay.
It's the countryside. It's just before she turned sort of like into more pop.
That's a good
But I
choice.
thought, I guess I thought that would be your kind of thing.
No, I like that
I
one
can
as
hear
well.
it.
I like
can hear
those
the
two. It's a similar time, right? They're next to each other. So and the more like guitar-y based ones. I'm just very biased. I just love the guitar. So
It's a good instrument. And you can just sort of like use it everywhere.
Yeah.
But your sound, I think, is consistent in a way that you've only had the 2 singles out so
just
far.
the 2.
And you can hear the progression between the 2, even though it was a short space of time. When did the second single come out?
In August.
And the first one was April?
Yeah.
You said? So it's not very long.
No.
But in a way, they feel very different. Like, you can still hear it's you, but how do you feel like you, after that first release, towards the second one, in that little short period of time, do you feel like you evolved? Or did you feel like it was just like,
I think I probably got more confident. The fact that people listened to it and liked it, which was lovely. I hope that, I always worry actually that my songs will all end up sounding the same, because they don't sound the same to me, but I just worry that other people might say, oh, they all sound a bit similar. It's great that you think that they don't. It's good to have like your own unique style and sound, which I think I've spent a lot of years trying to find, and which hopefully now I have. Different sounding songs within that is kind of the goal. Yeah,
that's the tricky thing, I think, is like striking a balance between having a sound but not having everything sound the same.
And having each single like a different genre. It's so hard to place yourself as an artist or trying to tell people what you are or what you do if you're really that sort of diverse. Yeah.
So how do you think you're going to aim for people say 5 years time, but so much happens in 5 years.
Yeah.
Within the next year, so you mentioned having a manager.
Yeah.
But in terms of your sound, do you think getting a band together? Perhaps?
Yeah.
Is that something on your radar?
Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to do that. When I was younger, I wanted to be in a band rather than like a solo artist,
Same.
but that didn't happen quite the way I'd hoped. So I thought, right, I'm just going to try and do it solo. But hopefully I'll be able to have like a drummer and a bassist and lead guitarist with me on stage for live performances to really sort of like recreate the singles, which I can't really do as well, just me. So that is a big goal. Hopefully in the next year we can make that happen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it coming
We'll see.
together. But then also being in the studio, having your own band in studio.
Yeah.
How did you work recording this single as well, the most recent one? Because in the first one, so you were in the studio with that one engineer. Did you have live musicians come in, just session musicians? Or did you know them?
No, so it was literally just me and a producer at the studio. So I did sort of the guitar parts, like the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar, like I do like the riffs and the fills in the song. And it was like programmed drums and...
they're programmed drums?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did originally want to have a drummer, but it was just easier to do the drums programmed, and they sound all right for considering it's not actually a
I
person.
wouldn't have picked that out. That's a good thing.
So, yes, that's how it was. It wasn't like a full band setup, which would be good to do one day. But for the one so far, no, that's how it's been, just the two of us. Yeah.
Do you think you'll always be a solo writer though? Some people get a band together and then when they write, everything changes because people have influence in a room. But it's a tricky thing. No, it is a weird, because I don't think I'm used to that yet.
Yeah.
It's something really nerve-wracking about. I could have a group of people staring at me and probably write a song, but if they're my band, for some reason, it's hard to.
I don't.
Right.
I'm such like all my songs are written solely by me. I really don't like the idea at this point in my career, or whatever. I really don't like the idea of anybody else getting in there and contributing, just because they're just very personal and I like my ideas. So that's how it's been. But I tried to be open-minded. So maybe at some point I'll try and do more like co-writing. But as for now I'm trying to sort of promote myself and I'm like a new artist. I think it's good to have all my own songs. But
True. Yeah, you might find, of course, like in the next year.
Yeah, I'll find the right person to do it with.
Exactly, yeah. It might be that you just haven't come across them yet.
Yeah, I'll be out
you just strike
maybe.
up that balance.
Yeah.
So what are your set plans on writing? Because you say you write all the time.
Yeah.
So are you thinking, now that you've done releases, are you thinking as you're writing, okay, I need to plan my next release? Or are you still just sort of taking it easy and being like, if it happens?
In my mind, I've got the next few releases planned already.
Okay.
Yeah. But then a few songs I sort of think, okay, I'm going to keep that for an album one day, hopefully, just put that aside. But I don't really, as I said earlier, write with any intention for it to be a particular release. I've got a few things lined up, hopefully. Are
they secret?
Planned for.
Are they secret, or can you tell me a secret?
So I'm definitely going to have another single by the end of this year. Hopefully November time will be a new single, and maybe an EP next year.
Exciting.
Yeah.
An EP?
Yeah.
Nice.
It'd be nice to do like a whole project of songs that I think fit well together as like a sort of like a concept. So that's the idea for next year, maybe.
And what about your live plans? That's such a big part of your career, I feel.
Yeah, it is.
Are you looking to do more long gigs with the band, maybe?
Yeah.
Or open mics? Do you think you'll do open mics forever, just as like a...
I do like them, but I'd like to think the next stage is doing sort of more like build gigs. My name on the poster and that sort of thing. Maybe a few more by the end of this year. I'm doing one next week in Ealing. So hopefully by the end of this year, a few more for sure.
So if people want to find you online, where can they find you?
So on all social media, it's at Frankie M Bird, and then my artist name is just my name, Frankie Bird. So it's on all Spotify, Apple Music, or on the other streaming platforms. That's me. Yeah,
that's you, Frankie Bird. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
All those lovely songs, and everybody out there, look out for all new releases and shows.
Coming soon.
And hopefully you'll come back to us in a year's time when you're like rich and famous.
Oh, no.
Hopefully you'll remember us. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I am you tried to make me, I'll run away to sea and won't return. But from a distance I'll watch the campfire. Here I am in your little town, but I'll only stay for a visit. 'Cause time is moving quickly and it's taking me right with it. And everybody says that you should lead and never follow. That's why I am making my way out to fit into my role. You know it's hard to explain. 'Cause you don't leave it to me. I am nothing like you. And if you try to make me, I'll run away to sea and won't return. But from a distance I watch the campfire burn. I see how it works and I can make no contribution. There are no disruptions to the natural evolution. But I am not somebody who can easily be sidelined. And I don't want to be part of this world that you have designed. I just need to find a place where I can show my true face. I am nothing like you. And if you try to make me, I'll run away to sea and won't return. But from a distance I watch the campfire burn. And I don't feel resentment, it's the way that life will happen. I was just hoping to break one of those faithful patterns. Miles away I see the crowd and all of them are laughing. But I would never understand, and so it's not worth asking. But I am nothing like you. If you try to make me, I'll run away to sea and won't return. But from a distance I watch the campfire.